Greetings, folks. Zion Hezekiah here, your boy Hez. We're recording on Tuesday, May the 12th, 2020. This is episode number 17 of season 3, and you're tuned into Toronto Talk Sports and more. I am happy to be joined here by my dear co-hosts. First and foremost, our co-producer, Janelle, Estaa. What's going on, Jay?
What's up, Hez? Hi, TTS family.
Welcome, welcome. We have Melyssa, Amour. What's going on, Mel? Welcome.
Nothing much. Just here. What's going on, guys?
Yes, welcome, welcome. And I see a familiar face over there. Could it be? Is that Hayley Marshall live and direct on TTS?
Yep. I actually came out of my hibernation to
talk
to people.
Well, I know. Hey, welcome. It's been a while. Hayley, what you been up to?
Not much, and as you know, I'm not essential, so I'm not working. So I'm out here home, chilling, gardening, watching
quarantine life.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Slipping in as I can here and there, but that's about it.
For sure. Yeah, that's the life. Well, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys.
So before we get to our intro topic, I know this is might be a little odd, but I just have something I have to ask Janelle. Maybe I'll ask Janelle. I've known you longer than I've known the other girls. I would ask you this off camera, but it is kind of pressing. With all the stuff going on right now with COVID-19 and whatever, times are tough financially. Would you mind lending me a few $100, maybe $300, $400, Janelle? Can I count it?
Let me go grab my wallet. Like, do I e-transfer? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, if you could send it electronically, that would be great.
Got you, Ezzy.
Can I count it? You got my back?
Got you.
I think
he wants to use your money to fund his poker.
Wait.
Good question, Matt.
Wow.
Wait, what is this money for?
His online gambling, live and direct on TTS. I love it.
Only if you could triple it, I'm down.
So basically, it's an investment.
Let's go.
Wow. So if you haven't guessed already, that's our intro topic for today is loaning money to family and friends. So I'm going to kick it off like this. I'm going to read a little excerpt here from a website. It's from cnbc.com. It's an article entitled, "Lending Money to Family and Friends Will Likely Damage Relationship." So here's what it says. I'll just read a little tab here. If you lend money to friends or family, beware. You may never get it back. What's more, you could permanently damage your relationship with the borrower. That's the findings of a new survey from bankrate.com, which found that 46% of adults who lent money suffered either one or both of those consequences. Wow. So guys, let's get right to it. It's a potentially controversial topic. I'm sure we've all had experiences before. Melyssa, let's begin with you. Lending money to family and friends. What are your experiences? What are your thoughts? Talk to us.
Well, I have to agree with that statement. I mean, like, sometimes, you lend money to family and friends. You set out a timeline, or they'll tell you, you know what, don't worry, I'll give it back to you within a few days. And for me, I'll be like, okay, I don't mind giving you a week or so, depending on your situation that you're in, and then when that time comes, I'm not going to be the one to come back and ask you for it. I expect you to come to me and say, oh, here's your money back. Because I don't want to feel like, like I'm hounding you down, even though it's my money. I want to see that you're taking the time out, to respect me to give you my money, to give it back to me, but then when it's like another week passes by, and you ask them, hey, whether it's a family member or a friend, you ask them, hey, the money that I lent you, when can I get that back? Oh, it's always an excuse after excuse. Oh, you get it back tomorrow. You get it back the next day. And because if it's family, you're more lenient with your family member to be like, say it could be your sister or your brother, cousin, whatever it is. You're more lenient to say, okay, fine, no problem. You can give it to me, when you get paid next week or whatever. Then that week comes, still nothing, And then to go back and ask them again, just to hear the same excuse, that's going to start damaging the relationship there. Because now I feel like I have to be hounding you down for it when I shouldn't have to. You should respect me the same way I lent it out to you. You don't know what I may need to do with it later on. I may need to have a bill to pay, and I said, you know what, I'll help you out now. hoping the fact that I'll get it back so I can pay my bill, you know? And lo and behold, I'm stuck with nothing.
I just feel like you have to be honest of why you want to kind of be lent the money. Like if my family or friends came up to me and asked for money, there's a good reason why they're asking me, you know? So it's either like an emergency or whatnot. Like there's times where I did lend it out to like family members, but it's probably only up to that point. I don't know if I could do it for friends. It just depends on the situation. Maybe my best friends.
I guess it depends on your relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But if they're in a bind, I know there's a really, really good reason why they're asking me, and I wouldn't hesitate to like lend it out to them. But it's just I can't. It's like what Melyssa said. I can't be the one to be like hounding you. That's the last thing I would want to do, especially if you're in a bind or in a situation that you can't handle. I'm like, I don't want to even put on more stress onto you and then try to chase my money down, you know. It's tough to balance.
If you owe me money, I shouldn't have to come to you and ask you, hey, what's going on? When are we going to settle up, or whatever the case? You're the one, the onus is on you to take the initiative to get in touch with me to either pay me back my damn money or, you know, make some kind of an arrangement, communicate, whatever. But once again, if you go out of your way to lend somebody money and they don't even have the decency from a basic, simple communication standpoint to get in contact with you, they say, hey, I just need another couple of weeks or, you know, whatever, just to, you know, smooth the situation out. If you're the one that has to get in contact with them and take that initiative, that's not a good look at all.
I don't loan money to friends.
Okay.
I don't, period. I had a incident years ago where I lost the money once, and I just learned from that I don't, you know? And so for that kind of is out of the question. And besides, if I've never had friends really come to me where it's something important. If it's something like, oh, let's go out for lunch or something, well, I don't have the money. If I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't say I'll loan you. I'll say, I'll pay for you.
I got you.
Yeah. A gift. Like I paid for my friends to get their nails done or something like that. It's a gift. I don't expect that kind of money back. So I don't loan money to friends. If I get you something where I take care of you, then that's a gift. That's that. And it just solves it at that. And, you know, typically at the end of the day, the type of friends I have around will return that favor down the line. And, you know what, don't worry, I'll pay for your lunch. You did so-and-so for me. With family, I've been on both ends. With family, I think is a little bit more of a lax depending on the situation. Again, I don't loan money if I know that I urgently need it back, because that puts me in that up in the air situation where I could screw myself if that person doesn't give me the money back in like a week or two. So if I don't have the money where I'd be okay with that money for like 6 months, I don't loan it. That's just protecting me. But with family, you know, I get it. I've been on both ends. And, you know, I've had some people say, well, I don't borrow money and I don't lend it because like I do everything myself. I'm like, yeah, but you know what? Everyone's life situation is different. People go through different things. And at the end of the day, I think with life, it is normal to need help to get to somewhere. No one does everything alone.
For sure. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah. Sure. So with family, you know, I've definitely, it depends on the amount of money again as well of, do I set a deadline? Do I, you know, kind of hassle them about it? Like if it's under $100, I'm probably not going to hassle you about it, because to me that's, if with family, it's still, again, you know what, you're doing them a favor if you don't get the money back. It is what it is. But if it's over a couple $100 and they know I need that down the line, then yeah, it's like, okay, like when do you think you can pay this back by? What are you paying for? You know, and then if it approach, I'm the person, like if it approaches and I haven't heard anything from them, like, hey, by the way, by Saturday I got your money. I'm like, hey, just you know, I need that coming up. I'm gonna need it. You know, not to be rude, but I have bills or whatever. I don't really leave things up in the air. So that's my opinion.
Thanks for sharing that. Let me share my perspective real quick. And I'm going to have you join me in this, Melyssa. You do acting, right? You're an actress, right, Melyssa?
Yep.
Can we do a little bit of a role play here? Is that cool?
Sure.
Let's do it. So ask me for a loan. Ask me to lend you some money.
Hey, Hez, you know, I'm in a bit of a situation. Would you mind loaning me about, you know, $250 till next Monday?
All right. So, how are your eyes? Your eyesight? I know you need money, but your eyes are okay?
My eyes are fine. Yes, I got 20/20 vision.
You can see perfectly well.
Perfectly well. Crystal clear.
So, because I don't know, I'm just a little perplexed here. Because it would appear that you see a TD sign on my head, or RBC or CIBC. I just wanted to do that. No, but guys, listen, I'm gonna keep it real with you, because I've had bad experiences in the past. I don't lend money to anybody for whatever reason. I just don't. However, let me finish what I'm going to say. Let me qualify that. I give people money, and I give money all the time. So if I have a close relationship with someone and they feel comfortable enough to ask me for money, and usually people will ask for a loan, because that's the common thing. Hey, I'll pay you back, whatever, blah, blah. Due to past experiences, I just don't go there. I do believe in giving and paying it forward, and a lot of what has been discussed here as far as, finding out the reasoning behind it. Is it so that you can go to the, marijuana shop and get your little whatever, you know what I mean? Or go to the LCBO. If there's a legitimate reason, which is obviously an important factor, I'll literally just give the money, and I'll kind of just say, hey, if you need it more than me, and, if it's for a legitimate need or whatever the case. So I don't actually loan money. I don't want to get into those contractual situations where I'm expecting them to take the initiative and to pay it back and this, that, and the other. I've given big money to people before, hundreds of dollars. And, once again, I don't want it back. I don't want to have those situations. Just like what I read in that report, there are some ramifications, and I certainly wouldn't want to lose a close friend or, God forbid, a family member, blood family member over, money, in exchange of money. It's just not worth it. So that would be my encouragement.
So in that situation, would you, later on, would you expect it to give it back to you, later on, maybe not right away, or just
Never,
be
not at all.
say,
okay, I give it to you.
Okay, what about if you guys went to a store or something and you wanted a shirt or whatever? Would you expect them to say, at least, you know what I mean? You did something for me, let me go back and get something for you. Let me buy you that shirt. How would you approach that?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. That's just not my thing as far as, holding it over someone, or they owe me, whatever, this and that. What I would probably encourage, and I've done this before, you're in a bad situation. So I'm just using a situation right now. This person's in a bad situation. They need $200, $300, whatever. If I'm in a good situation, I will give you that money. And what I would say is, when you're in a good situation, pay it forward, pass it on to somebody else. You're going to eventually have somebody, a family member of yours or a friend of yours, who's going to need that money. So just pay it forward. You don't need to give it back to me. I'm good. And I'm not bragging to say I have all this money. It's not even like that. But if I feel comfortable enough to give you money without expecting it back, then perhaps, one day down the road, you're in a good situation, just pay it forward to someone else, right?
I think just the point of any expectations lead to disappointment and lead to conflict.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
definitely.
And, to be honest, the friend that I had loaned it 2 years ago, we stopped being friends before the money situation. It was just that he owed me that money, right? To me, I don't think with family, I'm gonna stop being close to somebody over that kind of stuff, because it's just money is money. It's a temporary thing. There's always more to be made. It's not worth ruining a good relationship with somebody. Worst case scenario is, all right, you're not reliable, I just won't ever do it again. You know what I mean? If people are running from you, they typically aren't in a good situation to pay it back. And I think we can all relate to being in that. So I'm not going to be well, our friendship is done, our relationship is done. You know what I mean? So I think
you just won't do it again.
Extra for people to be doing that, to be ending kind of friendships or family bonds over that, because it's, at the end of the day, if you knew that you were tight, you should have been smarter about your funds and not lend the money. All you have to say is, I'm sorry, I'm not in a great position to lend it.
I agree and disagree somewhat with what Hayley said, because if I do give someone, lend somebody money from the kindness of my heart, I don't have to do it, but I did it. You know what I mean? Just to be nice. The Lord says, you do unto others as, you want stuff done unto you. So you go out and you give out the person the money, regardless. I may not be looking for it back, but out of the kindness of your heart, now that you see the situation, you got your money, would you not want to pay the person back? For me, if I had to borrow money from someone, I'm making sure I'm giving that person back the money that same day that I promised I was going to give it back. They're not going to call me down. They're not going to do anything. I'll be like, Janelle, thank you so much. I appreciate you helping me out. Here is your $200. Janelle wouldn't have to call me down. She wouldn't have to chase me, and I'm not going to ignore her. because she's my friend. She didn't have to do what she did, but out of the kindness of her heart, you know what I mean? She had it and she said, you know what, Mel, no problem. Here you go. So I appreciate that from her. But other people, like, I don't understand why they can't do that and why they have to dodge you after you help them out.
Yeah.
You know, you reach down into your pockets, whether you had it or not, but you were just trying to help out a friend or a family member in their time of need. You know, you would expect them to pay you back.
You have to kind of be careful who you're lending your funds
Right.
to, or if you're in that situation where you could do it, like if things were to go down, like would you still be okay? So you have to kind of assess your situation plus whoever you're lending your money to. That's why it's really tough for me to lend money to friends. Like for family, it's a difference. I find it's a lot easier for me, and I'll have a more peace of mind. Friends, it's like I don't want to. Yeah, or no, you're not going there. With friends, it's like I don't want to break that relationship either.
Anybody who I have in my circle as a part of my life that I would give any of my time to, or people that I consider special, that I appreciate, that are important, I would hate to have that relationship, you know, to be affected over any amount of money, whether it's $500, whether it's $1,000, whatever. I mean, is it really worth that friendship? And sometimes, even if, you know, you do loan money, which once again, I don't do that anymore. I've had some bad experiences. But let's say, for example, you do lend somebody money and then they end up not paying you back, and, you know, you have to hunt them down and they're ignoring you and this, that, and the other. Sometimes the onus has to be on you to be the bigger person, just to honestly forgive them, forgive the debt, you know, just wipe it clean, especially if you're in a situation to afford to just, you know, let it go. But obviously you will use your wisdom and your judgment to say, you know what, I can still be cool with you. We're still going to be friends. We're still family, whatever the case, but I'm just never going to lend you money again. Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just draw it down. You know what I mean? Great discussion. We could talk a lot more on it. Hopefully those that are tuned in, you learned a thing or two. Once again, value those relationships. Obviously, there are so many factors to weigh when it comes to, you know, deciding to lend somebody money and then the whole process of having them pay it back. So best of luck with all that. Once again, guys, this is episode number 17 of season 3. And here's what we have coming up on the show. Our next segment, we have a roundtable of fellas. I call them the good fellas. And we'll be discussing life in quarantine. So life in quarantine coming up. We'll share our perspectives on what things have been like over the last couple of months. After that, we have a featured interview with professional hockey player Matthew Mayoni. So he'll be joining us for a feature. So we look forward to that. After that, we have our sports roundtable coming up. We'll be discussing episodes number 7 and 8 of The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan docuseries. So very much looking forward to that. And to wrap up our show for our And More segment, yes, the And More segment is back. We are joined by celebrity makeup artist Melanie Vijay will be joining us here. So we look forward to that. So stay tuned. Before we officially wrap up, I do want to wish a very, and I mean a very happy birthday. Tomorrow, May the 13th, is the 6th birthday of my last child. So my 4th child, little Judah. So baby
Happy birthday, Judah!
Thank you. Yes, little Judah Hezekiah is turning 6 on May the 13th. So happy birthday. Interesting note, he actually has the same birthday as my older brother. So he was born on my brother's birthday. So happy birthday to my brother, Adrian, a.k.a. Sticks, who's actually turning 45 tomorrow. So happy birthday to my older brother and to my son, my last child, Judah.
Happy birthday, big bro.
Woohoo! Thank you. Once again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all your love and support. Do enjoy the show. Episode number 17 of season 3, Toronto Talk Sports and more.
Thank you for watching. Please click the like button and leave us a comment with your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications to see more engaging and interactive content. Toronto Talk Sports and more. For the love of the 6, let's connect.